Hi everybody, welcome to Monday Night Raw. Welcome to episode 3 of our 1993 WWF save on TEW9. I think we've got a bit of an exciting one this week. I'm introducing a new storyline for Mr. Perfect after he forced Ric Flair to pack his bags last week. So yeah, let's just get on with it, shall we? We are kicking off with a pre-show match here between Crush and Skinner. In a pre-show bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Crush defeated Skinner in 8 minutes 21 by pinfall with a heart punch. 58 for the wrestling, 57 crowd, 62 overall. You know what? That's actually not too bad. I'm kind of pleased with that one, really. I mean, we don't have any big plans for these guys, but Crush is someone who I'm going to kind of see where it goes with him. He might be someone we can get over. I do have an idea that for a tag team that I'd like to put him in eventually, but it means me bringing in another guy. We'll see. Let's move on. Another pre-show match. Men on a Mission are making their debut. This is a terrible match against Mr. Hughes and Terry Taylor. Yeah, we brought Men on a Mission in again, just sort of shore up that tag team division. So we've got pre-show belts that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Men on a Mission defeated Mr. Hughes and Terry Taylor in 9 minutes 42 when Mabel pinned Mr. Hughes with a diving leg drop. Terry Taylor was head and shoulders above everybody else. Yeah, 34 wrestling, 18 crowd, and 38 for the segment overall. Mr. Hughes and Terry Taylor didn't click, which obviously didn't help. We've got the gimmick changes here for Mabel and Mo. Mabel getting a poor and Mo getting an adequate. Didn't take Oscar on. That's probably my fault forgetting to take Oscar on as their manager. But bearing in mind this is a pre-show match, it hasn't really happened in our universe yet, so might get away with that, bringing him in later. We'll see. Let's move on. Final pre-show match then. Wanted to get Razor Ramon on the card, and why not use someone like Kamala? Pre-show bout had good heat and decent wrestling. Razor Ramon defeated Kamala in 11 minutes 34 by pinfall. So 64 wrestling, 60 crowd, 71 overall. Wanted to give Razor Ramon some match action. We've got him in a storyline at the moment with Bret Hart, but haven't really had him do anything yet. And I know technically he's not really doing anything either, being in a pre-show match. But yeah, just wanted to use him. Don't want him to sort of develop any ring rust or anything like that. Pleased with that. Let's head into the main show. So we kick off with Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler as they open the show, as they would, sort of welcome everybody. Hello, welcome to Monday Night Raw. And they announce that tonight we will see Randy Savage in action against Bam Bam Bigelow. And we'll also give you news of a confrontation between Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty at a recent live event. So a house show. And that gets a rating of 69. The storyline between Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty lost heat with this. A bit unfortunate. Let's go into the next segment then, as we have Al Burke take on Lex Luger. We want to use Lex Luger. We want to get him over. When I did this game in TEW 2020, this mod, he was my biggest star. He was big. I got him up to like 98 pop, I think. Not saying we're going to do the same thing here, but the plan is to get him, let's make him a star if we can. We want everyone to be stars if we can. So we had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Lex Luger defeated Al Burke in 8 minutes 19 by pinfall with a clothesline. So the story here is he's used his, the metal plate that he had when he first came in. I can't remember the time frame here. I can't remember if they'd already established that he had that or not, or discovered that he had that or not. But yeah, because he's still a heel at the moment, we've got him that he's just completely knocked Al Burke out with just what seems like just a simple forearm. But he's knocked him out completely. 45 wrestling, 40 crowd, 51 overall. I mean, yeah, it says a decent reaction from the crowd. I mean, 40, okay. 51, I didn't really know what to expect, but the more we can sort of get Lex Luger over, I think he's only recognisable at the moment, so he's not even well known. So yeah, we'd like to do more with him. Then we are taken back to a post-match celebration of a non-televised match. So we've got Jerry Lawler and Vince McMahon sort of explaining what's happening here. A recent live event, Marty Jannetty had just beaten a jobber, and he was celebrating. And as he celebrates, Shawn Michaels comes to the ring with Sensational Sherri. And Shawn grabs a mic and he says, "Wow, Marty, you beat that guy, that nobody. Real impressive, as Shawn Michaels probably would." And then Jannetty gestures for Michaels to step in the ring now. So, sort of, you can't hear what he's saying because he hasn't got a mic just yet. But, sort of like, come on then. Come on. I'll take you on now. And Shawn Michaels kind of gestures to go to the ring, and he's sort of teasing, he's going to get in the ring, and he goes to get in the ring, but then just decides to turn around, flicks his hair around, and no, not now. I can't be bothered with you now. And as Shawn Michaels is standing on the apron, Marty Jannetty sort of knees him, gives a run up and knees him in the back, forcing Shawn Michaels to fall to the floor and into the railings. Sherri then takes off her shoe and attacks Jannetty with the long sort of sharp heel that she's got on that shoe. So, tries to stab him with it or throws it at him. But Jannetty manages to fight her off. And eventually Michaels gets into the ring. And as Jannetty is distracted by Sherri, Michaels prepares his move. And then as Jannetty sort of turns to face Michaels, Shawn Michaels hits the super kick. I can't remember if it was called Sweet Chin Music at this time. I'm going to say probably not, but I don't know. But yeah, hits him with the super kick. And then Jannetty is Sparko out on the canvas. So that's, and then we'd sort of come back to Vince and Lawler saying, that happened at a recent live event. And then maybe they go on to try to sell the tickets. Anything can happen at these shows. Don't forget to buy your tickets for, when we're next in your town. This comprised of 4 parts, and it got an overall rating of 56. Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed. I thought we might have got something better than that. Yeah, I don't know why that dinged so much. The storyline's lost heat again, which is a shame. Let's have a look at the dirt sheet. There's a few bonuses there. Let's have a look at the penalties that we got here. Didn't look like there was any penalties. Have I just missed them? Announcing quality was penalised for low experience. Surely that couldn't have made such a big difference, though. Oh well, unfortunate. But we'll keep going with this storyline. Yeah, 56 overall. Then we cut to a news section with Sean Mooney as he introduces promos from Marty Jannetty, Bob Backlund, and High Energy. So Bob Backlund and High Energy are just giving you your general, your Royal Rumble promos, really. Talking about the Royal Rumble. Are they entering? Do they think they've got a chance of winning? Hyping the Royal Rumble. But we will concentrate on Jannetty's promo because of the storyline. And he says, sort of addressing Sean, obviously, you think you're funny, Sean, sneaking up behind me after I've already gone through a match. That's the kind of man you are. All talk, all cheap shots. You not embarrass me? Fine. But you better believe you started something you can't finish. Next time, it won't be a celebration. I'll be knocking that smug look off your face. And Sherri, you want to play games too? Then you're both going to find out just how wrong it is to mess with the rocker that keeps on rolling. I kind of liked that catchphrase. So, yeah, the rocker that keeps on rolling. I don't know. I quite like that. 46 overall for the segment. Sorry, I was just looking at the penalties here. That's pretty bad, isn't it? Bob Backlund struggled when going off script, as did Owen Hart and Coco Beware. Probably really dinged that segment. That's a shame. Luckily we've still got the crowd hot at the moment. Yeah, we're going to the next segment then. And we've got the Brooklyn Brawler teaming with Tony DeVito to take on the Steiner Brothers. Again, pure sort of, tag team. Use some of our teams, certainly ones we haven't used yet as well. And we've got the Steiner Brothers being used here. So we had decent reaction from the crowd, subpar wrestling. The Steiner Brothers defeated the Brooklyn Brawler and Tony DeVito in 8 minutes 15 when Scott Steiner pinned Tony DeVito with a Frankensteiner. So we get a 49 for the wrestling, 42 crowd, 50 overall. This isn't going to be a spectacular show, unfortunately. Hopefully the next few segments can sort of bring it up a little bit. But, we're putting on shows here for a purpose. We've got a few storylines going and, just people that I don't anticipate me using very often. Let's get them used. Then we are ringside with Gene Okerlund, and he interviews Mr. Perfect. So he interviews Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect introduces Mr. Perfect. He comes out, and Okerlund says, Mr. Perfect, with Ric Flair now out of the picture, it looks like the path ahead is wide open for you in the World Wrestling Federation. Mr. Perfect said, that's right, Gene. Ric Flair is gone because I beat him, and that's just the start. From here on out, it's about excellence. No tricks, no games, no nonsense. I'm setting my sights on the most credible wrestlers here. in the WWF. So he's really putting across that he wants to be taking on the best, the legitimate athletes. So Doink the Clown comes out. So his music hits. We don't see him yet, but obviously, Mr. Perfect, he's talking about credible wrestlers, proper workers, really good athletes, technical ability. And then Doink the Clown's music comes on, and Ric Flair, what's going on here? And Mr. Perfect is irritated. He says, "Hey, what's this supposed to be? I say credible wrestlers, not some idiot dressed in a cheap clown's outfit." And then Doink the Clown appears behind Mr. Perfect, honking a horn and squirting him with his flower of water. And of course, that irritates Mr. Perfect. And then Doink, grinning, says, "Oh, don't take it so hard, Mr. Not So Perfect. You just looked a little dry." And then Mr. Perfect is fuming and wipes his face and just glares at Doink the Clown. And Mr. Perfect says, "You think this is funny?" And then Doink just cackles, dances off, spinning his umbrella, leaving Perfect dripping and furious. So yeah, obviously we have now started a storyline with Mr. Perfect and Doink the Clown. I think they might have been quite a good pairing. You've got the legitimate athlete, you've got the guy who was such a hard worker, technical ability, brilliant in the ring. Kind of had that aura of legitimacy, and then up against Doink the Clown, basically the idiot, the guy who was just in it for laughs. Although obviously he had some ability. Matt Bourne was a worker. Doink the Clown isn't seen as that, so I thought that'd be quite a good pairing. And we get an 83 for this particular segment as well, which brings it up a little bit, and the crowd has bumped up to white hot, which is always good to see. Bret Hart then takes on Damien Demento in a non-title match. No, tell a lie, I did actually put the title on the line. I don't always agree. I know they used to do it back in the day where they would have the champion would be on a show against probably usually a jobber, or it could be an undercard guy, and the title wouldn't be on the line. And I always thought the title should always be on the line. You're wrestling, you hold that belt, you should always be defending it, especially as a face. And I think Bret Hart would always defend that belt. I guess as a heel, you could have it that the heel sort of says, "I don't have to defend it. I only have to defend it once every 30 days." But yeah, I think Bret Hart as a face would be defending it at every opportunity, and he gets the win here. So we had good heat and decent wrestling. Bret Hart got the win in 11 minutes, 2 seconds by submission with the sharpshooter. And this was our storytelling match as well. So, yeah, a title defense for Bret Hart. And actually, I'm very pleased with the rating here. I mean, I'm sure it was all Bret Hart's work. Well, you can see it is here, getting a 92 against Damien Demento's 32. So, wrestling was 62. Crowd was 60, but yeah, 78 overall. Pleased with that one. I do have Damien Demento entering into a storyline soon as well, so I'm trying to use guys that either are in storylines or will be in storylines, or guys that I just don't want to sort of disappear. So yeah, Damien Demento, I do have plans for him. I don't imagine I'm going to try to push him to the top, but I do have a storyline I'm putting him into. We then got another news segment. Sean Mooney introduces promos from wrestlers who have entered into the Royal Rumble. And I'm not going into details with these, but we have Big Boss Man, Big Muff Man. We have Big Boss Man, Jim Duggan, Lex Luger, and Papa Shango, all saying that they're entering the Rumble and giving their reasons as to why they think they're going to win it. So Sean Mooney struggled going off script. Jim Duggan also struggled. Might have to script some of these segments. I'm just trying to always give that sense of bringing out the wrestler's personality. I don't know. It probably dings our ratings a little bit. 57 overall for this one. Then we've got the title match, the tag team title match that was advertised last week. Money Inc., the tag team champions, go up against the Nasty Boys. So we had great heat and decent wrestling. Money Inc. defeated the Nasty Boys in 7 minutes, 5 seconds when IRS pinned Brian Knobbs with a stock market crash after Jimmy Hart interfered. Of course he did. So that means we can continue this storyline because, the Nasty Boys won't be happy at losing after interference from the manager. And this was another storytelling match. I don't remember putting 2 storytelling matches in these. This happened last week as well. Last week's episode. Yeah, I don't know. Defense number 1 of the WWF tag team titles. I don't know if that's right or if it's just within this save. 63 wrestling, 62 crowd, 60 overall. I'm actually quite pleased with that. The storyline gained heat as well. So, yeah, always pleased with that one. Then we have got a pre-match interview backstage with Randy Savage. Gene Okerlund interviewing Randy Savage as he goes up against Bam Bam Bigelow in tonight's main event. Bam Bam Bigelow is a guy I always admired. I think even as a kid I quite liked him, but as I grew up and understood a little bit more, he was such an athlete for a guy of his size. And obviously I didn't know all this myself. I've watched videos, but people point it out, and then you watch some of his stuff and you just think, yeah, wow, what an athlete. And he put on some really good matches. He had a brilliant match with Bret Hart, King of the Ring 93. And I'm sure there's other examples out there. So I've always liked Bam Bam Bigelow, and I would like to do something with him. I would like to push him. Whether he's a future world champion, not sure. But yeah, I would like to get him up there. So this is the pre-match interview with Randy Savage, and it gets an 82, hyping that match up pretty well. And 73 for the match. Fantastic heat and great wrestling. Randy Savage defeated Bam Bam Bigelow in 14 minutes 50 by pinfall with a flying elbow drop. The match was designed so the wrestlers could go all out and steal the show. Yeah, so this was our steal the show match. I mean, you can see Bam Bam Bigelow only getting a 60. I mean, he's probably better than that, but let's get him over a bit more. Let's get him up the card. I would really like, I know I just said it, but I would like to get him up the card into the main event scene. 73 wrestling, 72 crowd, 73 overall. Yeah, very, very pleased with that one. And when you finish off getting the crowd buzzing, that's always great. Let's finish the show, see what we get. 76, that's good. I'm just happy at the moment that we're not losing popularity. Usually, whenever I start a TEW game, usually the first couple of months, I, very hit and miss with show ratings, and I might drop a few popularity points, but I'm happy with that. Increasing our popularity in 13 regions. Financial report, yeah, we've made 124,000 popularity. Yeah, we've gone up in a few areas. I mean, we're going to have to get really high scores to go up in the US, but if we're not losing, I'm pleased. So let's look at our emails then. John Nord has been offered a contract at a couple of companies, drug test fees, and Monday Night Raw ratings. Okay, let's come out of that one. I want to have a look at our new storylines. I'm not sure if there's any spoilers here. I'm not over fussed about spoilers. I don't think there is, because I don't think I've added any stories that aren't kicking off yet. No, I haven't. So the Bret Hart storyline with Razor Ramon is extremely hot. Mr. Perfect and Doink the Clown has started with extremely hot. So yeah, pleased with that one. We are achieving our 3 storylines hot or above, which is good. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty is extremely hot. And Nasty Boys and Money Inc. has also gone too hot. So yeah, we've got 4 at the moment. I've got another 2, maybe 3 ready to kick off. And I think I said at the end of the last episode, Royal Rumble is a good time to start storylines. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going, or even the night after Royal Rumble. So as much as I would like to have 6 or 7 storylines on the go now, it's just not the right time to be introducing them. But certainly in a couple of weeks, we will go there. So I think that is the end of this episode. Whilst I'm here, I have tried again, and he won't. But I would love to re-sign Ric Flair. I would love to. Nah, he doesn't want it. He's going. I could just release it. If I release him, I'm going to have to pay him. A couple of weeks ago, I could have just got rid of him for nothing. Yeah, but then we would have just ruined that whole Mr. Perfect getting some rub. Okay, I'm going to leave it there then. Please give a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments below if you've got any ideas or anything you think I'm doing wrong, anything I could change. Although this was my era, my memory is quite hazy. So if there's anything that I've got incorrect, please correct me, because I'd like to get things like the Lex Luger forearm thing. Did they already know by now about his arm having the metal plate? I don't know. But yeah, let me know. And take care of yourselves, everybody. I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.